and welcome to the New Leaf Podcast. This is a podcast about mainly knitting and crocheting, also some behind the scenes stuff of designing, and sometimes other crafty things I do. So, my name is Carmen. I am coming to you from the Netherlands. My Instagram handle is craftyqueens. I'll just put them on the screen. It's crafty_queens. On Ravelry, you can find me as Caramelletje. And as of last week, I have created a podcast group on Ravelry, which is called the New Leaf Podcast Group. If you're interested in joining the group, for upcoming crochet alongs, knit alongs, giveaways, other crafty chatter, just chatter about the podcast and just to be a bit more interactive with the community, feel free to join the group. So it's New Leaf Podcast on Ravelry, and on Etsy you can find me as New Leaf Designs NL. I also have a blog called craftyqueens.nl. I am in the process of rebranding to New Leaf Designs, but as I'm not really good with web design and stuff, I'm not sure how much longer that will take, but I am in the process of rebranding, so bear that in mind. I have two different handles now, and in a few months, hopefully, let's keep it months, on the safe side. In a few months, I will be New Leaf Designs on everywhere. So, you didn't need to know that. What is that? Anyway, I also got a new haircut yesterday, and I'm not sure yet how I feel about it. So if you see me fiddling with my hair, please bear with me. I'm just not sure how I feel about it yet. If I style it correctly, I look like Rachel from Friends. If I don't style it or not style it correctly, I look like a tired mom. So I'm not sure how I feel about it yet. But let's get on with the podcast. I'm doing things a little bit out of order, but that's fine with me. I wanted to show you some yarn that came in the mail. And kind of subconsciously, I've been following the kind of standard podcast procedure for the last couple of episodes, showing WIPs and FOs first, and then new stuff, and then maybe some live chatter. And just today I felt like, well, I'm gonna share this yarn first, because this is what happened to me first in the past week. So on Monday, I got a note that my yarn was delivered and I had ordered it the week before, and I had just not noticed that I had sent it to my old address. We have just moved, and I haven't updated my account on Etsy yet, and I was just, okay, bye, click, 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 okay. And then I got delivery confirmation, your yarn has been sent to blah blah blah, and I thought, no, that's my old address. So I drove by on Tuesday, and the new the new person who's in the apartment, they weren't in. So I was like, ooh, would they have received the package? I don't know. And then they texted me that they had actually gotten the package. So I was so thrilled, and I went by again to pick up these lovely skeins. Oh my gosh! I love them so much. These are all the same color, but I love how different they are. yeah, there are so many colors in this. I'm gonna show you a few up close. First, I'm gonna tell you a bit more about where it comes from. So this is yarn by Craftfulness, which is a yarn brand that I love. It's from my friend Sandra. She lives also in the Netherlands, but way up north, and I'm way down south. So if I would actually go to visit her, it would be like 4-hour drive. But anywho, this is her DK base. It's 100% superwash merino, and it is called All the Mauves in the World. I'm gonna show you up close here. And you see there is a wide variety of colors. There is some rusty colors here, some light pinks, even some kind of like orchid purples, or I'm not sure I'm calling that orchid. I've been gifted a lot of orchids for housewarming and stuff, so everything is orchid now. But it kind of makes me think of orchids, so yeah. Maybe I can find some more colors in this skein. So here is even some kind of red, more light pink. Oh, I just love these colors so much. I totally understand Kristen now from the Yarngasm podcast. Mauve is her favorite color, and I understand why. They are so lovely. Yeah, so I bought this yarn for a project that I actually already have yarn for. But the yarn I had bought is an undyed yarn, and I was planning to dye it myself, but I don't feel confident yet to dye a sweater's quantity of yarn, since I think it would be very difficult to get a regular distribution of color. And even though these, I can tell these are very different, even though they're from the same dye lot. So I'm gonna have to alternate these. But I feel they would still be more consistent than anything I would dye. So, and Sandra was having a 25% off in her shop, so I thought, oh well, let's just buy 3 get 1 free, right? So yeah, so I bought that, and I'm so happy. So let me show you what I'm gonna make with it. It's from Pompom, and it's issue number 20. And it's called the Melli Cardigan, and I've showed you this before. There it is. It will be so beautiful in this yarn. So here's the Melli Cardigan. I love those bat wings and the kind of cropped shape and the V-neck. I just love it. And there's this subtle detail. I think it's made with slipped or wrapped stitches, but they're kind of V-shaped stitches. And this sweater is originally made with La Bien Aimée yarn and their DK base. And I think it also takes about 1,000 meters. There it is. Oh, and I love with Pompom, and I love how they draw the cardigan or the project. It's so cute. Look at this. I think it's so cute. So you need about Oh, they just say the amount of skeins. So 230 meters and then 4 skeins. And this one is 225 meters. So those 20 meters that I'm short, it won't matter that much, I hope. But the La Bien-Aimée, DK is 115 gram skein, so that will make a bit of a difference since this is 100 grams. So that means that this is lighter, right? Yeah, this is lighter. So it won't be as dense of a fabric, I think. I'm so bad when it comes to figuring that out. Yeah, so I thought rather than waiting maybe another half a year, and when I finally dye my yarn, I thought maybe just play it safe, buy a yarn that's already dyed by a fantastic hand dyer, and just go with that. Because I also, I was kind of influenced by Sandra's, she has made a kind of, I think it's based on the So Faded pattern by Andrea Mowry. You can see Sandra's Instagram, it's Sandra's Craftfulness. Yeah, I think Sandra's Craftfulness. And she has made a kind of So Faded sweater with one of the colors being All the Moves in the World. And but she has added some pearl stripes in the sweater, and it's so pretty. It's just so pretty. I think I will just add a picture here because it's so pretty. So yeah, so as you can see, it's really mind-blowing. I just loved this color, and it had to be mine. There were only 4 skeins left in her shop, and I thought, well, this is just meant to be. Yeah, so that's thing number 1. I think that's the only yarn I have to show you. So, but it's a sweater's quantity. Yeah, but before I get to cast on this cardigan, I have to finish my other cardigan on the needles. And I have done some work on that, so let me show you. This cardigan currently has 4 balls of yarn attached to it, so it's not a very portable project. But I made a lot of progress this week. I had finished, well, I had knit the body. I still have a ways to go, but I did this part of the body, and I did the first sleeve. And this week I have almost finished the second sleeve. I'm doing the ribbing now, and it was easy to pick up again as I didn't really have to look at the pattern. I just had to look at the decreases I marked here. And yeah, so that was really just nice to pick up. And this yarn is, I think, worsted or Aran you would call it. We don't really work with yarn weights in Holland, so but I think you would call it worsted or Aran. I'm knitting it on 4.5mm needles. I think it's US 7, I think. So that's quite a key sweater. And it's 100% wool. This is actually yarn that I hand dyed myself. It is some Scheepjes Zuiderzee. and it's fisherman's wool. They use it to make fisherman's sweaters, so it's very rustic feeling. But I'm completely in love with it, and it's gonna be my favorite cardigan. I can already tell. I don't mind any scratchiness on my skin. Well, not here preferably, but for a cardigan it's fine. And so it's 100% wool, so it takes the dye quite well, even though it is very light. I dyed this using avocado seeds and skins, and I dyed it in 3 batches. So I have 1 batch. Okay. I have to start over explaining this. So I had 6 skeins, and at the same time, at most 2 skeins could fit in the pot. So what I did, I divided the dye stuff I divided it in 2. I made 2 separate dye baths, and first I dyed the first 2 skeins. I put them aside. Then I put the second batch of dye stuff into the pot, and I dyed the second set of skeins. Then I took them out, and then I put the remaining dye stuff of the first and second batch, I put it together, and then dyed a third set of skeins. So for I'm not sure if I have anything left from the first batch. I do think so. It's either this one, which is one of the dark ones. This is, I think, was definitely one of the last. They're all so different, I'm not sure. But yeah, as there is quite a difference in saturation and in color. Oh my god, what am I doing? What am I doing? I'm just gonna put this back before they get any more tangled. Oh, it'll be fine. And what was I saying? Yeah, because these are so different, I alternated them throughout the whole project. And I'm alternating one of the darker ones, so one of the first dye bath, and then one of the second or third. And it's turned out really nicely. You can see some striping going on, but yeah, kind of like that. And I'm not sure if I will also stripe for the button band. I think so, but so I'll save some of the first dye bath just for that case. Yeah. Oh, I love this. Yeah, so my agreement with myself is that I first finish this cardigan before I cast on the Melli cardigan with the mauve yarn. Yeah, and it's going pretty well. So let me show you where I'm alternating the yarn for the sleeve, because that's kind of the only tricky part of the sleeve. But even, yeah, when you get the hang of it, it's just really simple. So I'm gonna turn it inside out a bit here. This line is where I'm alternating between the skeins, and I'm twisting the yarn just once, like you would do when you're doing intarsia, I think. It's like when you have two blocks of color next to each other, you have to twist the strands on every row, because if you would not do that, you would just create two separate pieces of fabric. And that's the kind of twist I'm using here. And I think I will do some kind of tutorial video on how to alternate skeins in the round and in rows. I think that would be helpful because, you know, everyone just talks about, oh yeah, just alternate the skeins, and then just doesn't really say how. So I feel like some kind of tutorial video is in order there. So I'm gonna do that when I have time. And then here, I think, yeah, you can't really tell, but I think I alternated skeins on this side. So you see here, there is kind of this ridge going on. Do you see that extra, that extra dash? Of, yeah, just that extra stitch here underneath. I think that's the alternating. Oh, I know it's this side because I have both strands here. Yeah, so it's on this side. So that's invisible, actually. You just have to be careful that you're not pulling it too much, otherwise one side will pucker too much, whereas the other will be more stretchy. But as I'm adding a button band, not sure if it matters, but I'm being extra careful just in case. I have so many ends still on here, but I kind of want to sew them when I finish the cardigan, so that if there are any gaps I still need to fill, that I can do that with the scraps. The WIP I worked on mostly this week. I do have some other progress to show you. I worked on my Galactic Socks, which is a gift knit for Christmas. And this yarn is so soft. It's much softer than the other colorway I worked with. This yarn is Fil Folk 100, and it's the colorway Galactic, and it's knitting up really nicely. I forgot to do a more rounded toe, so it's a more pointy toe. I just increase every other round, whereas for the last couple of socks I've been increasing for the first 3 or 4 rounds, and then for every other round. Yeah, so this is the sock so far. I really love the striping effect. It's really nice, but still subtle. Still a very wearable sock. Although I am wondering, since I'm making this for a girl, it might be a little bit too manly, but she's kind of, I think it will work. And I will put a bright purple cuff on this, so that will be fixed. And last time I was telling you about the heel I was going to try, which is a toe-up heel with gusset. And for my last pair I used, I'm sorry, I was distracted, some bug was flying against the window. And for the last, completely off track here. For the last pair of socks I knit, I used a heel from the Seed Pods pattern by Louise Tilbrook's Designs, and I did way too many increases for that, so I was gonna fix that here. But then a lovely viewer called Robin gifted me a pattern on Ravelry. It was so unexpected but so kind. She gifted me a toe up gusset heel pattern by the Sockmatician, and she said, I love this pattern, and I saw your struggles and I just want to help you out, and thank you so much, Robin. I will definitely be using the heel pattern for this sock, for this pair. Yeah, I'm really excited to see how it goes. I was knitting on this yesterday, and then I remembered that, well, I forgot to check the pattern for how much you have to knit before the heel. So I just stopped knitting since I was, you know, I don't like to rip back rows, so I'd rather just not knit and wait, rather than having to rip back. So that's my progress this week. Not very much, but progress is progress. Another thing I worked on this week, yeah, considerable amount, is my Freezeblocks shawl. Oh, I love the gradient. Oh my gosh. It's better on screen than, well, I don't want to say that it's better on screen than in real life, no. But, oops, there goes the ball. But as I'm seeing it on the screen, I see it like in a complete picture. And that's really exciting, because if I'm working on it, I'm usually not, you know, spreading it out and seeing it. So I'm having a better view on the screen. So this is the winter adaptation of my Freezeblocks shawl, which is a shawl made with Skeins Whirl, which is a fabulous gradient yarn cake. And this one goes from gray to purple to lighter purple to kind of neon yellow. And let me show you the yarn cake. It just dropped. And then it will continue onto this kind of olive army green, and then to this bright fuchsia in the middle. So excited. I'm so excited. Yeah, and I put a progress keeper on this project. Yeah, you can see it right there, my little ice cream. So that's how much I did this week, and I would have done more on it, but I'm kind of saving it for a very particular knit night, because as I've been telling you last episode, next Saturday I'm gonna be at the West Knits Mystery Knit Along launch, and it's kind of like shopping event, but also knit night, and or, you know, crochet night, whatever. And I wanted to bring a project, but of course to a Stephen West knit night you just don't bring your any old sock project to work on. So I was kind of like, I should save this, because this maybe maybe West Knits worthy. I don't know, what am I saying? No, I don't know. I've not made any of his patterns, so I have no clue. But I thought, since, you know, he knits with a lot of mohair, and I thought this is quite cool, right? So I thought, oh, this might be a cool project to bring, and that's why I've kind of been holding off on working on it that much. But now I'm not quite sure. But anyway, I'm totally in love with it, and it feels amazing, and I can't wait to use this. So I'm almost through my third ball of mohair. As the whirl is 1,000 meters, you also need 1,000 meters of mohair, and this, well, it was perfect since these were all 200 meters each. So I just got 5 balls of these. And there are quite a few people interested in also doing the mohair adaptation of the Freezeblocks shawl. But I do have a kind of a word of warning, or maybe a recommendation. that sounds more pleasant. Whirl comes in lots of gradients, and some of them are multicolored, like this one. Some of them are just from one color to the other, like my my original Freezeblocks shawl, which is from white to blue. So they have some colorways like that, and if you're using like kind of one of those gradients with less colors, I would suggest that you pick a mohair with a totally different color, because one of my testers for the Freezeblocks pattern, she chose a gradient which was from white to green, and it was beautiful. And then she added some green mohair, and they looked stunning. And then crocheted together, it is kind of bland. So this isn't a very you know, they're very different colors, but with the other wool cakes, it's a very subtle gradient, which is beautiful. But if you then go add a strand of mohair of the same color, it just kind of doesn't show up at all, which is super sad, because it's quite an expensive project. One cake of whirl is like 28 euros, I think, and the mohair is not cheap as well. So I would just recommend that you choose a contrasting color, or like complementary, I don't know how to say that. So if you're gonna do the version with mohair, I would just suggest to use a contrasting color. Like for example, gray or a sandy color, it goes with pretty much everything. And but if there's also kind of the same color in the whirl, I would just choose a complete different color altogether. So just bear that in mind. It still is a beautiful shawl that my tester made, but it just made me aware of this. So I did kind of expect that it would happen, but you never know for sure. So just keep that in mind, that you take a contrasting color of mohair, and then I'll be fine. I also worked quite a bit on my commission for it's secret, so I can't tell you, sorry. But I just worked on a commission, and I ran short on yarn, so I quickly ordered more since the project was really flying. So I thought, okay, I better keep this flow going. And then I received the next pack of yarn, and it's a different dye lot, and I totally blanked on mentioning the dye lot, since I guess I can tell you that this is a one color project, and it's quite large. And I'm not used to doing that. I'm used to, if I'm doing a large project, then I would use very different colors. Maybe for a blanket like this one, I used loads of different colors. So I didn't think about it, and I just ordered the same color number. and the dielet is completely different, so I'm gonna have to return it, so and exchange it. But so that was when I just, you know, I couldn't work on that commission anymore until I got the new yarn. So that's when I pulled out the cardigan. So yeah, I'll just get more yarn next week. That's the answer to most of my problems, just get more yarn. Yeah, so that's my update on that. But I do feel like I can get right back into the flow when I receive the right dielet of yarn, since it really is an enjoyable project. I'm not even telling you if it's crochet or knit. I'm not. I like teasing you guys. Oh well. And I want to tell you one more thing before I go, which is a podcast recommendation. And quite recently I stumbled again upon the WOOLJEWEL podcast. I mentioned her in one of my earlier episodes, since I was watching a lot of the Wool Needles Hands podcast, and they were co-hosting a cow. I think it was the Big Unravel. I actually think it's still ongoing. But as I was crocheting with my unraveled yarn, it didn't count, so I kind of lost interest in the cow. But recently I discovered Caitlin's podcast, which is WOOLJEWEL, and she is so fun and so, yes, she's just so fun and so cute, and I just love watching her podcast. And I discovered that while I have been watching her newer episodes, she has actually gone back and watched my oldest episodes and is catching up slowly. So hi Caitlin, when you come to this episode. Yeah. Yeah, I love watching her podcast, and she has done quite a bit of Stephen West patterns, so that's really interesting to me now, since I am going to the launch party next weekend, and I'm really contemplating if I should cast on one of his patterns before I go, but then I think, well, he's gonna tell us so much about color combinations that I might just well wait until after. I think that's the best way to go. So that's all I have to show you for this week. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you again next week.